선수 어떤 선수 원하세요?
저는 이제 딱 한 명 남은 것 같은데.
네. 자, 어떤 저그를 데리고 올지.
설마 이병렬? 설마 이병렬?
자, 이병렬 박명호. 와,
가장 세게 보는 느낌인데요.
예.
제가 정말 잘한다고 생각하는 선수 중에 한 명이긴 한데 지금 저는 항상 저그전은 항상 자신 있어가지고
좀 잘못 알고 계시는 것 같은데 저는 저그가 아니거든요. 전 저그예요.
이야, 저는 저그.
빨리 뽑히다 보니까
네.
그럼 이게 재밌을 것 같아요. 팀킬도 만들 수 있어가지고.
오, 진에어를.
저런 선수가 꼭 한 명씩은 있어야 된다.
팀킬을 하고 싶었는데
네.
김도욱 선수가 진짜 하실 거예요? 라고 물어보더라고요. 그래서 진짜 하려고요.
그래도 저는 병렬이가
방금 이병렬 선수가 눈을 피했어요.
용우 못 이겨요. 그래서 용우가 도욱이한테도 좋은 선택을 안 했으면 좋겠다 이 말이에요.
아, 그냥 말 안 들어주고 그냥 독단적으로.
용우를 위한 선택을 해라.
선택권이 있으니까 딱히 제가 뭐라 할 건 아니에요. 근데 저는 도우 형을 뽑을 거예요.
저 뽑으면 당연히 도우 형도 같이 가야 된다 생각하고.
네, 저는 그냥 조용히 있었는데 지금 되게 이상해진 것 같아서 그냥 영우가 좀 평화롭게 했으면.
네, 원래 사람은 원하는 대로 해주면 안 되거든요.
와.
제가 원하는 대로 하겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 기세가 대단합니다.
뼈가 있는 말이었어요. 조성주를 김유진.
예. 오자마자 하시니까
따로 있는데요. 이거 제 분위기가.
뿌리나요? 어우, 지금 마십니다.
진에어 3명 중에 뽑을 거라는 거에서 왠지 뽑을 것 같더라고요.
마이크 김유진 선수 잡아주시고요. 남은 선수가 변현우, 김도욱, 거기에 조성주 선수예요.
병렬이랑 성주가 너무 괘씸하더라고요.
오.
원래 둘이 가위바위보 시켜서
네.
진 사람 데리고 오려고 했는데 그냥 장난으로 해본 거고요.
예.
원래 악당은 한 명만 있으면 되거든요.
네네.
그래서 제가 악당한테 당했으니까 굳이 팀킬 붙일 이유는 없을 것 같고. 근데 도우 형이 끄덕끄덕 하니까 또.
유진이가 원래 착한데 이제 또 세상 이렇게 착한 모습을 보니까 저도 모르게 끄덕끄덕 거린 거고, 또 유진이가 최근에 테란전을 잘하더라고요. 그래서 최근에 변현우 선수랑 해봤는데 할만하더라고요. 그리고 이제 유진이가 블리츠컨 가려면 한 결승 가야 되는 것 같은데.
저도 해봤는데 스타리가에서 별로 못하더라고요.
졌지만 못하더라.
졌지만 못하더라. 자, 과연 여기 조성주의 명쾌한에다
남이 잘 되는 골을
예, 조성주
안 볼 것이냐? 팀킬이 될 것이냐?
조성주 데리고 오나요?
과연
야, 가자는 거야, 지금 조성주.
조성주를 악수는 했는데.
조성주 밀어내요.
악수만 하고.
네, 김도욱 고개 숙였어요.
고개를 숙였는데.
숙였어요. 예, 도란도란 가자.
아이 컨택. 너무밖에 없다. 우리 와도. 형 우리 같이 올라가봅니다.
죽어보자. 다시 변현우인가요?
변현우에게 밀당을.
네, 템킬은 저기 가서 해라. 자, 여기서
손을 가리고 있어요.
손을 가리고 있어요.
하트까지.
예, 마음을 빨리 어필해야 됩니다. 마음을 흔들어야 돼요. 변현우인가요?
변현우 안 잡으려고.
변현우.
이렇게 되면.
이거 극적 반전입니다.
김유진 선수 뽑기는 원했어요. 별거 아니야 이 선수. 아니 왜 나를 뽑아서 아우.
박영훈 선수가 떨어지려면 투테란이 있어야 돼요.
(2016) Hot 6 GSL Season 2 Code S.
Welcome everybody to the GSL Code S Group B. We just got a nice look at our group nominations there, how Group B actually came to form. And this is going to be one of the strongest groups we have here for the round of 16.
It really is. We have 3 Zergs left, and each one is scattered and placed in one different group. So we've got one today, next Wednesday, and of course next Friday as well. Here's our round of 8. We had a huge upset with Ryung getting out of the group in 2nd place here. Did take that 1st place spot. So we're going to find out today, of course, who is going to the left slots here of the right side of the bracket, if that makes any sense. We're going into Group C. The left part of the right side of your screen, that's where we're going. In fact, I'm on the left part of the right part of your screen down there on the bottom right. But
well, we're doing Group B right today, so it's going to be
that's right, okay.
the players that go up against Hero and Ryung. So the player that gets first place in this group will have to go up against Ryung, whereas the person who gets second will have to go up against Hero. So a lot on the line. I'm sure a lot of people can acknowledge that Hero, he's gotten more results nowadays than Ryung is looking better as a player overall.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying how well Ryung is playing right now. This group is really interesting too. We saw kind of Byun saying that Classic is kind of a weaker opponent. He's nothing. And he said he wanted to be chosen by SOS and had regrets about that. But Classic versus Byun was one of the best series of Star League. Might be the best series we have, like in that tournament over at SPO TV. An incredible rematch that we had there, went all the way to Game 3. Talk about how New Gettysburg makes epic games. We had an epic Game 3 just on Wednesday, and I'm excited to see how Byun and SOS's styles clash against each other, and if we even see New Gettysburg in that series, because that's what I'm hyped for. I want to see them play against each other on New Gettysburg. I want to see how that game goes. Byun is on fire, but he did drop out of the Star Leagues. This is his last chance. And for SOS, he has to go to the finals in order to make BlizzCon. He's the defending BlizzCon champion.
Yeah. And you guys can see kind of the hot points there on your screen, but I do want to address what you were saying. Actually, Byun did ban New Gettysburg in his series. It was the first ban. He's like, no, I'm not playing that map. Not again, not against SOS. I mean, it makes sense. SOS is even scarier in my mind than Classic on a map like that. So
that's true. And actually, interesting in that map, Vito's, I looked at my stats sheet down here. We will have Rex Shear as the third game, and he goes to Game 3. Pretty rare. I always talk about sometimes players could bait the bans into other maps and not ban the league-specific GSL maps, and then eventually have a strategy player prepared for a map. Because most people just ban them out. You trade one each, and then you ban the one map that you really hate. And map drafting in the GSL is pretty complicated right now for that reason. So if suddenly you have a map on Rick Shear, where you can actually play a really cool strategy while your opponent's not really practicing that map, because it's almost like an unspoken rule to ban them, things can get really interesting there. So just something to mention. You can see here, SOS has the most winning record here, but Byun is number 2.
Yeah, it's really interesting because this is the exact opposite of the WCS current rankings. Dark is at the top, then Pure, then Byun, then SOS. So it also said there that it includes Heart of the Swarm, so kind of interesting. Maybe the stats are a little bit skewed there, but just to get a little bit of extra info on these players and what they have done against each other. Guys, this is going to be an incredible day of games. I mean, every single player here can get out of the group, including Byun. A lot of people look at him, maybe he's the underdog of the group, but he's still a fantastic player.
He really is, and I think he is one of the big fan favorites. I used to say Byun is the foreign hope. A lot of foreign fans really like him. They watch his games, they cheer for him. But realistically, in Korea, ever since his performance in Star League this year, in both Star Leagues, his Legacy of the Void record is really good. And he is one of the biggest fan favorites overall in the entire player base in Korea for Korean fans now. He's so hyped. You can see he was so nervous when he started having success, but now you can see a little bit more confidence in his play. Yeah. And this is it for him. This is his last chance. There's no more Pro League for this guy. He's already out of SSL, so this is a huge opportunity.
Part of the reason why people love Byun is that he shows his personality. He goes into interviews and he shows just that ultimate relief where he's like, I made it through this. This meant so much to me. And I'm sure he's thinking the same here. You see, he's like the only one yawning. He was probably practicing all day long and not getting that much sleep, just really trying his hardest to prepare for a group like this. You were talking about this with me actually in the makeup room. We have every race here, so you have to prepare for every matchup. Byun goes up against SOS first, but then he might have to play either a TVT or a TVZ. So he's got to make sure that he's ready and prepared, as do all these players in this group for every matchup.
Especially both Terrans do have that potential mirror matchup, so that's the scary thing. Here's Cure. Now Cure, again, I always say this about this player, but he doesn't always get the respect he deserves. He's been so close to several finals. He lost to both TY and Innovation, 2 players that prevented him from going to 2 grand finals of the GSL. TVT seems to be a little bit of an Achilles heel for this player, so probably hoping to avoid Byun so that he doesn't have to TVT him.
Yeah, very true. And you can see how he made it through the round of 32. He lost 0-2 to Stats first, defeated former Liquid Hero. Now he was able to take the 2-0 over Stats at the end of it all. So this guy able to defeat a guy like Stats 2-0 when everything is on the line. Definitely one of the strongest players we have in the round of 16 currently, and a pretty decent favorite to get out of this group, I'd say.
I would have to agree with that. Now, Dark on top of the WCS points with 7,200, a whopping massive lead up there in first place. And I mean, this guy is unstoppable. He's the defending SSL champion, and I would say by far the strongest SKT player right now, as the team is slumping a little bit. So I just have to say he's probably the favorite to get out of this group, and one of the favorites of the 3 remaining Zergs to go deep in this tournament. So if you're a Zerg fan, you're really cheering for Dark here.
It's funny, in the group selection, Kira was very confident when he picked Dark, and I even tweeted about this. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, Kira. That is a terrible decision, because Dark, he said it himself, he's not an ordinary Zerg. He is, you know, he did the thing in Korean, he's like a dog, like the extra emphasis. He's like, you know, I'm kind of cool, I'm special kind of Zerg. And he really is. I mean, he's just this one Zerg that has always found a ton of success in Korea and has been more consistent than any other Zerg as well.
He's also a very, he is kind of a meta creator. He built the Baneling meta in ZVP alongside Rogue, but I think Dark was really the brains behind that. The only player who really uses Corruptors consistently in this matchup. Yeah. He's a smart Zerg, a fast Zerg. He's got all the traits of a champion. He is an SSL champion. He wants to win his first GSL here. He's one of 3 Zergs left. We'll see if Kira can take him out. He was confident, but this may be a mistake.
May have been a mistake. Either way, we're going to get to see Kira's sick TVZ versus Dark's quite good ZVT. You know, they were talking about how SOS brought in another Terran to try to bring down Dark because CVT is still not his strongest matchup here. So can he fight up against a guy who is a TVZ sniper, a fantastic player in the matchup? Is he going to use, you know, everything that he said about himself, all of that confidence and his great play, and be able to take this game? We're going to jump into set number 1 now on Frozen Temple between Kira and Dark.
2, 1.
Up in the top left, in the blue, the Terran player, he is
Jin Air Green Wings, Cure.
Very underrated player on the best team in the world currently. And his opponent to the bottom right, a very popular Zerg.
SK Telecom T1, Dark.
The defending SSL champion defeated Stats in the grand finals. It was the first time he'd ever been to a Star League finals along with Stats. Of course, discounting the Kespa Cup, which is not really a Star League. You can do it.
They both say the same thing. You can do it.
So
interesting. I wonder who they're talking to.
Probably, I would say Dark, considering he's one of the Zergs. But then again, he may be a Cure. They may be Cure fans. As I think Dark is
maybe
they're
Bjorn fans. They're like, yeah, Bjorn, you could do it.
I'm like, wrong game. Put those signs down. That's happening next. So let's see how this one plays out. This is a rarer matchup right now, actually, in all tournaments because there's not very many Zergs left. Pro League was on a brief hiatus as well since the round 3 finals, where Leonok was actually defeated, the only Zerg to play. So when you look at this, meta shifts may have happened, actually, in the time between we've seen Zerg players play. Rogue really did some cool new stuff with the Queen range when he played in his group in the round of 32. We'll see if Dark has something planned or if he's just going to play standard from what we know.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. We're seeing this pool first kind of style from Dark a lot. We actually saw it yesterday as well, as he took out, I think that was Stats? No, that was a Terran. It was... I can't quite remember. I casted it yesterday. It's not coming to my mind.
We cast a lot of StarCraft now.
Either way, he did win 3-1.
Was it TY? It was
yes,
TY, wasn't it?
It was TY. Okay.
Yeah, I actually haven't even caught the VODs yet, as I was casting Heroes last night, but yeah, I did see that result. So.
But he went pool first on a lot of, I think on all the 2-player maps except Dusk Towers. So this one, New Gettysburg, I believe. He's definitely liking to show this kind of safe style, get the early speed.
Yeah.
Make sure he can shut anything down.
I think that's really the key here. As we're seeing Hellion openings getting a lot more popular, as we see one Hellion in production right now. It's not going to be reactored, but Hellions were the old meta back in Wings of Liberty. every single game. Pult made this where you switch your reactor, you cast the game blindfold, you switch, you get 2 Hellions, and you get the Tech Lab. For the Cloak Banshees, and you switch the barracks back to it and get Stim. That was the old way a long, long time ago, but now a little bit less common. But with the early speed, shutting down the first Reaper becomes a lot easier as well. The Hellion is going to come and join it. These Lings actually sneak by, and they might get into the main. Nope, just going to grab this SCV here, at least attempt to.
Ooh, he commits to it, and he is going to lose 1 Ling. Definitely a good trade there, 1 Ling for 1 SCV.
Yep.
And he's able to sneak a drone out past the Reaper and the Hellion, which is very nice to do if you can sneak that over there past those 2 units, because obviously those 2 units can kill the drone, but once it becomes a hatchery, they don't have enough firepower to take that out. So
exactly.
Getting that down on time is quite nice.
I wonder if he saw the 3rd base. He must know at this point, but if it's not known to him and he thinks he's denying the drone coming over, he's going to be in under an incorrect assumption. So I said uncorrect. Sorry about that, guys.
That was very uncorrect of you, Wolf.
Yes.
To say that.
By the way, Dark, again, we talk about how he's a player who changes the meta and makes things standardized. This is one of those things. Overlord speed, he was the first player to get it every time. Now, pretty much every top Zerg does this, and he's showing it here why it's so important. Scouts this fast, 3rd CC, gets into the main base, knows no Banshees are coming his way, and he starts double E-Bays, or excuse me, double Evolution Chambers as a result. And he's even going to try to deny this CC. This could work out. Oh, not a tight wall! And this is disastrous.
He just slips in there. There's no defense. Look at this gigantic pull. He hasn't quite denied that 3rd CC just yet. He wants to get the economic damage here first. And that is doing so much damage. Look at this drop over here in the main. It gets totally shut down as he's trying to deal with this. 11 SCVs go down.
And he
This
doesn't
is
have enough. He has to
unbelievable.
land a Viking to deal with this. And he will eventually clean this up, but the damage is done. The 3rd base goes up for free. He scouted it late. We saw actually a shot of that, so he didn't even know that was happening. Now, his saving grace here may be that he does have this 3rd CC, about to finish it. He can do triple SCV production. He's going to have triple mules as well, and that can allow a Terran player to recover very quickly. That's why he was so vulnerable here. Obviously, the wall being not tight was an issue, but he didn't have a lot of units to deal with those Lings because he went for that fast 3rd CC, so that's the trade-off. He also doesn't have Stim on the way just yet, which is another issue.
Look at this. This medevac is getting super low. The Widowmine is going to burrow and hit the Queen. Not exactly what you wanted to hit here. Snipes out that medevac. This is forcing a big pull on all of these drones.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage done here. Nice save on the Queen. Had the Queen died a second before, if he'd focused it, the medevac would have survived and we would be in a totally different situation here. So important that it did get that kill. And double upgrades are coming here. Look at how late Stim is right now at 5 minutes and 45 seconds. He added his barracks so late too with a huge bank, and I almost wonder if he was considering going mech instead of bio just because of how long he thought about whether he wanted to add his barracks or not. Then he added them, added his reactors. He has a low marine count. He can't pressure. He really just kind of has to turtle up here, build his SCV count, and hope for the best, man. It's going to be a tough game, an uphill battle from here.
And this is not where you want to be as the Terran. You want that drop to be doing damage, and you're back at home getting your very safe 3rd CC because the Zerg is flipping out trying to defend. Dark's not that kind of Zerg. He's kind of evolving every time I see him. He's playing even better than yesterday in the ZVT. Just the way that he controls the matchup with his Lings early on reminds me of other, great Zergs that used to do this. Sue in his prime, even Life as well.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys were just so good at doing little things like that get small advantages. And just as you're saying, now the Terran is forced to just sit back and, tech up, get his 1-1 behind the Zerg, and his Stim is late. And Dark's like, okay, free 4th base. I make a couple of gigantic drone rounds, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do to me in a couple minutes here.
The Overlord Scout is important too. He gets the information about the fast 3rd CC. He commits to a group of Lings, which get damage done, partially based off Cure's positioning mistake on his CC, but still gets damage with that. And I think that's really what was the tipping point in this game. And Cure could still certainly come back, but it's going to be an uphill battle, as I mentioned before. His creep spread is immaculate. He's already killed the rocks, and he's got this creep going up the ramp. And once that starts happening, the Zerg is comfortable. He's going to be even in upgrades in a moment. Cure's Stim is about to finish. He can't fight without it. Burrow as well.
Yeah, you saw him mixing that a little bit into his play as well. Burrow banelings on this map are quite nice. You know, there's a couple of paths. We've also seen it happen. You know, you burrow them in the line of sight blocker in the middle of the map. This is going to get totally shut down. Stim finishes, and that medevac is so low, it just barely gets away.
So, some risky maneuvering there with those medevacs, certainly nearly losing one there as he was clicking around. Baneling speed coming up here late, but it doesn't matter, because Dark just has such an army that he's not even worried about this. He's so flexible, he can fight off creep with these Lings alone without a single Baneling. And the Queens are going to help protect him. He's just kind of forcing his creep across the map, down all 3 lanes, really.
Look at this, couple of Burrow Banelings.
Oh, man.
Is he looking? There it is, right away.
Bullseye.
There's your boy Dark. He's paying attention.
Nice positioning on these Marines to try to maximize their value, but we are going to see, as Dark has shown us many times before, a Baneling drop here, and Baneling speed will line up with this, so he's going to get some good hits potentially. 2 Widowmine drop here, probably not going to get much done, but he's looking for something. So many Queens, making this so difficult to execute.
All the Queens and even the Lings running around here. He finds an angle, actually, coming on in here. Widowmine's getting a couple of decent shots.
Yeah. Overseer just a little bit too late. I think Dark was convinced he could kill those before they burrowed, was unable to do so. Look at all these traps he's setting up. This is very Leenock-esque. This is something that Leenock is famous for doing. Here comes that 4 Baneling drop. Nice scan here, but scans have to be used for this. He's not paying attention.
Here we go. The Banelings running in. 12 SCVs go down, trading for 4 Banelings. A very nice trade.
Yeah, I mean, this is the multitasking that you force with burrowed Banelings. Extra scans have to be used that you wouldn't want to normally use. That means less mules, and your focus is more divided. It's harder to simply walk across the map when you have to be careful of every move you make. And clearing that creep on the bottom is pretty nice, but he's not able to accomplish anything with it. This drop should be shut down.
Not getting any damage there as well. It's
I
like
swear
he poked an Evo chamber.
Yeah, I swear he transfused a Ling there, man. He's like, nah, this is not. I'm shutting this down so hard.
I mean, Dark is basically doing everything right. There have been a couple of mistakes. You know, the Widowmine's getting in there. The one drop in the main that he didn't quite clean up too carefully, but his multitasking is really on point as well, where he's burrowing everything along the map. You know, he's getting his macro up at the same time, dealing with the push from the Terran, but also he's dropping Banelings at the same time. Yeah. It's like he's really just all over the place in this game. It's very fun to watch.
Now he has he's made so many Banelings that he has a gas problem. But with all the bases that he has, he should be able to make some Ultralisks coming up very soon. The Baneling count he has now, he won't need to make any more because he's just got so damn many of them that he just is safe against basically anything. Again, yes, this creep gets cleared, and this is a good move, but oh, look at this.
Rolling on in, there's a bunker, but it's not going to save some of these SCVs. Okay, the nice pull there, only going to get 2 in total.
And you can see, I mean, he's got idle SCVs. The wall isn't tight. He's forced to multitask so hard against what Dark is doing. He's making small mistakes here and there. Good Widowmine hit here, but...
Yeah, Dark's really, you know, that's the one thing in this game. He's really having trouble with these Widowmines all over the place and straight up engagements and drops.
But you can just see, I mean, how hard of a game StarCraft 2 is in these small things like these walls not being tight. When you know, Kira is a programmer who's played for several years, but in stressful situations like this, sometimes you will make a mistake like that that allows the Banelings to go, and he wasn't paying attention because he was doing something else. You know, he's trying to clear up the massive creep wave that are you know, down all 3 lanes on this map. And right now he's building a scary army. He is going to have Max in a minute. Not enough Queens here to kill these medevacs. He's got a few Liberators coming out too. That's going to line up pretty nicely with the Ultralisk Cavern timing here. And Kira does have an opportunity if he takes a few good fights and it kills some bases. He could come back and win this game, but he needs to be decisive. And sometimes that's not something that Kira is known to do. This base is not a planetary or an orbital.
Just chilling there is that command center. That's been there for a while too. I guess he just never really got to transforming that into anything here. Dark just holding everything off now with flying colors. Even that drop over there, or rather just the push of the 5th base, he was able to deal with that quite cleanly, even soaking up a couple of hits of the Widowmines on his Overseer. Now he's going to start getting aggressive.
Oh, the burrowed Ling is so frustrating to deal with. He's going to have to scan to clear that. I actually like this little touch of the siege tank on the cliff. That's going to be helpful against any sort of big attack that Dark sends his way. And it would have been really helpful earlier when Dark committed that much to the Banelings. A different type of player like Leenock, or maybe even Sue, would have probably attacked with the big Baneling count and try to end the game. But Dark is just looking for late game. He's looking for the Ultralisk. which has been kind of a controversial topic, right, amongst the community and pro gamers. Are Ultras too strong? It's so hard to deal with them. Once they come out, the Terran has to really, really do everything right. And if you lose one big fight, the Ultras are not going to die. They're going to get transfused. It's dirty.
Yeah, definitely gets dirty. And he's already made 5. There's 5 in that group right now. Both players actually a little bit late on their 3-3 upgrades. You see Kier only going for +3 attack. Dark getting his 3-3 now. But look at this, another big run by him in the natural.
Yeah, look at that baneling trap as well. I don't think he's looking. Oh!
What?
Oh, it looks like he was looking over
man.
here. But he can still get it. Okay, it's decent. Hits mostly Marauders.
Yeah. All those red Marauders.
Dark just has so much money that even if he loses his whole army, he still gets a positive trade. This, I don't know if he should really be committing this much here into the Liberation Zones. He's definitely going to lose a lot of Ultras. That's very expensive. Kier could maybe do a counterattack after this, but he needs to go right away. Oh, man, look at how much trouble he's having, even with just these Ultras. This is too much damage.
His whole base is in tatters. His 4th base is not mining. His 3rd is lifted. He's going to have to scan to remove that burrowed baneling. Dark deals with the harass that was happening back at his base. He's even got a lot of static defense at the 5th base, so not really an option to drop there. Dark in massive control right now.
I feel like Dark just knows that if this attack went slightly less favorably, if it was a poor engage overall and he couldn't get the damage he wanted, the counterattack potential is there, the drop potential is there. He's made so many static defenses prepared for every potential outcome, as well as the creep spread that was never fully dealt with is just so immense that he was going to see anything coming a mile away. Now, the Corruptor account that he's building now is to help deal with those annoying Liberators, which is basically what's kept Kier alive in this game. I would like to see potentially a few Vipers come out as well. Vipers are kind of a questionable thing. Sometimes make them very expensive. And some players are incredible at splitting versus them. Some players are not. So if you're actually playing against a Terran who's so good at splitting versus the Parasitic Bomb, you might not get that much value out of the Vipers. But if they mess it up, you can get so much. So it's the Corruptors are the safer choice.
We saw Dark as it got into the super late game yesterday in a couple of the games against TY. He went for Corruptors first, and then he began to sprinkle in some Vipers, not too many, like 1, 2, or 3, just about, and he used them for a Parasitic Bomb, yes, but if there were just any stray Liberators, he could always yank them in, abduct, and just take them out very easily. The one game that he lost, he actually overmade Corruptors, and you can see in this game that he's not quite doing the same. He's keeping a very healthy amount. It's about 8 to 10, but it's not like a crazy amount, like 15 or 20.
Yeah. That's actually something that his teammate Sue had problems with sometimes in this matchup, is overmaking Corruptors in the past. This army here, again, that Siege Tank getting so much value. This army here is kind of caught in an awkward position. It's tough for him to engage. And the Terran player, once maxed out, can always keep dropping like this. It doesn't cost them much to do it, but it's not getting value because Dark's committed so much to those static defenses. This is probably a better angle to attack in, but the Liberation Zones are already set up here. And Dark, I think, is going to have to start thinking about what he wants to do next. I mean, are we going Brood Lords? He's getting an Infestor, which can definitely help out.
One Infestor. See if that works. No Pathogen Glands just yet.
I mean, look at this swarm of Zerg here. He has such a large army. Now hitting the Liberators from the left side here, and he's going to commit to this attack. And, I mean, you can see the immense amount of damage the Liberators put off, but the Bio army is getting smaller and smaller here. The Liberators are going to fall to pieces, and I think this may be it here.
It's looking like it. Dark with a very nice engage. Just way too much stuff in the rematch. GG. Dark takes game number 1.
Very well played. A dominant game there. Let's not forget, though, many people might watch this game or came in the game late. You're going to think, damn, Dark is so much better than Kier. He controlled that entire game. Let's not forget about that run by, because after that, Kier was basically playing the game with one hand tied behind his back. He had an uphill battle, and he had to fight against Zerg, who had a massive economic advantage over him, had a fast third, then later a faster fourth than normal because he had such a lead. His creep spread was crazy. And Kier basically lost economy while going for an economic build, so he had no army to pressure with. All he had was his 3rd CC, which he was able to hold on to. But that was like kind of a game where he lost it early on and still put up a good fight, so that in itself is impressive.
Yeah, it definitely is. We'll see if he can come back in this second game. It is going to be Frost for game number 2. And funnily enough, Frozen Temple, that was Kier's pick, and Frost is Dark's pick. So Dark looking in a pretty nice place right now in this series.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, he's probably going to feel really comfortable on a huge map like Frost with how good his creep spread was, his multitasking. Yeah. He wants to play a big map. He wants the late game. like I said, other players stylistically might have attacked there with a huge baneling count to just try to end the game, but he said, no, I'm just going to get ultras. I'm going to take 6, 7 bases. I'm going to have the whole map covered in creep. And that's what he did.
This is exactly the way that he played yesterday. It's like it's a mirror. It's the same player using the same style for 2 individual leagues that he had back-to-back. And Kira, I'm sure he was watching those games against TY and was studying them. And as you were saying, it really just put a hitch in the build when he lost that many SCVs and that much mining time. So I want to see if he can like just recover from that and go into game number 2 with the fresh mindset and say, okay, I'm still confident. I know how to defeat this player. I studied him. Let's see what I can do in game number 2.
Yeah, I think that's a great assessment. I think it's really unfortunate, the CC placement there, you know? You really have to think about, in a moment like that, you're like, I was pretty sure that wall was tight. You're not even thinking about the possibility of this. And it's crazy to me that Dark even just ran through. I was thinking he was just going to attack the CC because I also thought it was tight. And the links come through, and I'm like, oh, maybe he can cancel the CC. Probably could have, actually. But since he got through, the SCV kills were more important. And, I mean, it really worked out for him there.
He got 12 SCV kills, and the SCVs were fighting, so they weren't mining as well.
He killed Marines as well, so it was like there was no big drop follow-up after that. There was very few units. And the reason why there were a few units is because he went for the 3rd CC build. Looks like someone went to the bathroom. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah,
I
you
assume.
guys just saw Dark like